Def Jam's dumb decision to drop Pusha T and the Clipse.
Pusha can barely contain his disgust recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never going to do, he explains. And then they wanted me to take the record off. And so after a month of not doing it, Steve Gawley, the lawyer over there, was like, we'll just drop the Clipse. But that can't work because I'm still there as a solo artist. But if you let us all go, sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release Clipse and drop Pusha as a solo artist, freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished Clipse album and plenty more music in their pockets. So according to this, Steve Gawley and Def Jam not only dropped Clipse, but also Pusha T. According to this, because of Pusha T, or drop Pusha T also because of Drake, because there's a Kendrick song on it that even though it doesn't talk about Drake, and Pusha isn't talking about Drake, they were willing to let the whole thing go. This is crazy.
What up, where's your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I remember when it was every rapper. I don't care who you are. If you were in the 80s, your dream was to be on Def Jam. Def Jam was the pinnacle of hip hop. You wanted that jacket, you wanted that hat, and that's why Dame Dash was so mad when Def Jam gave Rockefeller artists those Def Jam hats, because he knew what that meant. It meant that they were stamped historically on the greatest label ever. And it meant that now Def Jam would be given the credit for Rockefeller staff and their artists. They would now be looked at as Def Jam artists and not Rockefeller Records artists. Def Jam was the one place on earth that you knew when you bought that CD or that tape or that vinyl, right? You were getting some good hip hop for the most part, outside of a few random weird releases like Ed Lover and not Ed Lover, I'm sorry, Dr. Dre and the other guy, the other Dr. Dre, a couple random releases that didn't pop. For the most part, you were getting real hip hop. You were getting Redman, you were getting Method Man, you were getting Onyx, you were getting the LL Cool J, Run DMC, Beastie Boys. I can go on and on. It was the one place you probably can't find a rapper who did not want to be on Def Jam. I'm just going to be honest. It was the place you wanted to go. It was the place holding down the culture. It was where everything was being turned around, even when the culture was lacking and hip hop was kind of on a back burner. You knew Def Jam was cooking up something, and they cooked up a man called DMX, right? And for a time, it was good. And for years, that banner held a lot of weight. You couldn't say nothing wrong about Def Jam. Leo Cohen and Kevin Lyles and Russell Simmons and whoever else was up at Def Jam, right? It was a monarchy. It was royalty. And anyone that doesn't know that doesn't know hip hop. You can exit the chat right now. You can sit around and learn something. But Def Jam was probably one of the greatest labels. Before Master P, before Cash Money, before all of that, Def Jam did it independently. Just going to be honest. And they were 100% the fantasy draft where you wanted to go. Def Jam right now in 2025 is a shell of itself. It is run by, I don't want to be disrespectful because they already messing with my channels, but it sounds like morons up there, right? It sounds like morons. And I get it. The article's going to tell us it's UMG, da-da-da. But at the end of the day, this is the Def Jam decision to drop Pusha T and to drop Malice. I know Malice from the label because of Drake's goofy bubble bath lawsuit, okay? So I'm going to have this conversation and we're going to get to the bottom of why Def Jam has become so lame. And I thought that Snoop Dogg was brought in, right, to build the brand back to where it was, to bring it back to its greatness. I thought that's why Snoop Dogg went over there in the first place. Remember, Snoop Dogg was attached to Def Jam. It was another rapper too. They attached somebody else to Def Jam. He's supposed to bring back the label to its prominence of the 80s and 90s in its heyday, right? All this nonsense. Now you're dropping one of the best lyricists in the history of hip hop, one of the top 25 rappers to ever do it. I'll even give it top 50 for some of you guys that don't believe, right? But here we are with the story coming out Pusha T telling us that Def Jam was scared. Not only did they want this censoring rap, you wanted to censor Kendrick's verse. This is what we doing at Def Jam? Chuck D would never. Y'all soft up there, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. Y'all soft up there at Def Jam. I don't know what's going on. Chuck D would never. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened it. I read it. They said they was suckers. Listen, this ain't my Def Jam. I don't know what y'all new kids got right now. This goofy business. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know what's cracking over there at Def Jam. Okay? I don't want to go there anymore. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't want no parts of this. I want to read this article because I need to know for myself. I've heard several different YouTubers, creators comment on this, but I want to read it in plain black and white so I can know how Def Jam fumbled this and rationalize we need to drop Pusha T and Malice, no Malice, right? Pusha T says Def Jam tried to censor Kendrick Lamar on his upcoming Clipse album due to the Drake beef. Quote, they wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never going to do, which, goddamn it, that's disrespectful in so many ways. I can't even comment on how crazy that sounds. Yeah, can you censor your verse because the bubble bath rapper is over there lurking, trying to add more amendments to his lawsuit? No, we're not doing that. Let me continue. That's how scary it is right here. It's this scary because of this lawsuit, and I got more videos coming. These guys are so scared now. Now we're going to see the corporate, right? We're going to see how corporate this industry can be, right? It was so rough and tough and all this good stuff. They'll put out a drill rap in a minute, but God forbid you say something about the bubble bath rapper Drake, right? Let me keep this moving. After much anticipation, Pusha T and No Malice, collectively known as Clipse, finally announced that Let God Sort Them Out, their first album in 15 years, which the Def Jam staff fumbled, will arrive on July 11th. But when the press release was sent out last week, there was curiously no mention of Def Jam, who the duo had signed last year for the project. Instead, distribution and marketing were attributed to Jay-Z's Rock Nation. And now Pusha T is opening up about why. So I saw that the new single, Ace Trumpets, and it had Rock Nation like very prominent, like presented by Rock. I'm like, why this so prominent? Why this got Rock Nation so big on them? But now I know, because they want everybody to know we not with Def Jam no more. Def Jam on some weird shit. Let me keep this moving. In a new interview with GQ, the rapper claimed their relationship with Def Jam crumbled over Kendrick Lamar's verse on the song Chains and Whips. Universal Music Group, the parent company of Def Jam, is also home to Drake and Kendrick. Given last summer's highly publicized beef between Drake and Lamar, which resulted in Drake's filing a lawsuit. Weirdo behavior, gang. You can never say it and not just... You can never just say it. It just sounds weird. It sounds weird. Let me keep this pushing, man. This is weird, man. Boys filed a lawsuit. Oh my God, against UMG. Pusha T said that the label was hesitant on the idea of two of Drake's biggest enemies putting out a song together. This is scary behavior. This is why corporate and corporations ruin and will continue to ruin hip hop. They're trying to police a collaboration that hip hop, the culture, is begging for. They want to police it. They're scared of this bubble bath rapper throwing chancletas at drones. They're scared of this guy. This guy is changing this thing forever. It's going to be ramifications for years. Because these guys in the corporate world, they look at things as black and white. It's like, yo, is this going to give me, this going to have me in court, losing millions of dollars? I don't want it. They're going to start turning away a lot of good things, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Let me keep this moving. Quote, they wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing. And then they wanted me to take the record off. Def Jam, y'all sloppy. Y'all getting real sloppy up there. I don't know what's going on in them break rooms up there. I don't know what's in them vending machines. Y'all getting really scary. It's getting scary, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Let me keep it moving. And so, after a month of not doing it, Steve Gawley, the lawyer over there, was like, well, we'll just drop the clips. Thanks, Steve. Thanks. We appreciate you, because you're just part of the culture at this point, right? You're just ruining things over there. But that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go, for those unaware, Pusha T outed Drake for having a secret son in 2018, which he did, during their contentious battle on the incendiary track, The Story of Adidon, while Lamar buried Drake with his proverbial nail in the coffin, Not Like Us, last May. Yep, he got killed twice. This guy only won one battle, and that was by default because Meek Mill didn't know how to come back. And that's how he won against Meek Mill. Meek Mill didn't know what to do. All right? Let me keep this moving. Def Jam ultimately decided to release the Clipse and drop Pusha T as a solo artist, which is wild. They begged Pusha T to go there. I'm just going to be honest. Remember, they was begging T to come to Def Jam, right? Then he put out a classic over there, maybe two. I don't know if both of them albums on there, right? And now you dropping them because scary-ass Drake? Let me keep this moving. A rep for Def Jam and UMG didn't immediately reply for a request to comment. The move forced the Clipse to push back the album's release date, which was originally supposed to be sometime in 2024. So this music is old. This is old music. They might have freshened it up a little bit, but it's still old. Pusha T conceded the entire process was worth it. Quote, it felt good to even see how other labels were vying for the project. In January, Drake filed an 81-page federal lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, alleging UMG approved, published, and launched a campaign to create a viral hit out of the rap track that falsely accuses Drake of being a pedo and calls for violent retribution against him. So let me just say this. This is where we're going. This lawsuit is going to make these people way more scary, intrepid. They're going to be hesitant to release anything that's going to cause any waves. This is how corporate works, gang. You got to think this is Johnson & Johnson baby powder. This is a whole different thing. Now they looking at dollars and cents. This is not the culture no more. At this point, when you go to court, and Drake knew this, when you go to court, you're bringing in corporate sensibilities. You're bringing in lawyers. You're bringing in documents. You're bringing an arduous process that's going to take months, if not years, and it's going to cost millions to continue this lawsuit. But he knows that, right? And he's still going to try to drop this album and continue business as usual while the court filings proceed. Right? And now UMG is trying to double back because they're like, we know the lawsuit is ridiculous. We know it's weird, but what if he win? And even if he don't win, this is millions of dollars we're going to have to spend on this. We don't want this again. So now they're getting scared. They dotting their eyes. They probably looking at everything. They probably fine-tooth combing Pusha T's words. And they probably fine-tooth combing Kendrick's words. They both saying that Kendrick and Pusha T not dissing Drake, but it doesn't matter. Anything that can be perceived as a diss, they're scared now. Now, Rock Nation, they don't give a shit. They like, listen, whatever, what's up? And I wouldn't be surprised if they fine-tooth comb this thing and find something in here to add to the lawsuit. I'm just going to be honest, it's very possible. This guy moving so scary that he's trying to just bully these daggone labels and they're falling for it. Def Jam fell for it. I don't know what happened to Def Jam, but they've gotten extremely soft. I don't know where this is going, gang. I think hip-hop is in trouble for the corporate people. Now, the people like me that got my own label and the people that got their own labels, they don't care. They're going to make the records and do what they do. They're going to do it double time, right? Just like me with this YouTube. I'm going to go double time, right? They playing Funny Bunny right now with me, so I'm just going to go harder. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I don't care. So no one's out here scary. What we're doing is we're moving accordingly. Kendrick not stopping his tour, Pusha not stopping the album, and none of us are stopping what we're doing. So I just want to say, Def Jam, you are part of the problem now. You used to be the heroes, right? You're the home of Public Enemy. You're the home of Run DMC and LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, a lot of people, Nikki D for lack of better, you know. Man, listen, y'all, Def Jam is the shit. They used to be the shit. Now y'all y'all going down in history for this one because this is clown behavior. And I know it's not the Def Jam staff in of itself. It sounds like the lawyer Steve and then a couple other people over there in the other department, right? I don't know what department that is. It's not the A&Rs, right? I think it's which I don't even know if they got A&Rs anymore. We are seeing the destruction of hip-hop from the inside, but they can't destroy it because it's not on the inside. It was never on the inside. The insiders just made money off of it, but they didn't control it. They put out what they thought was going to work. They did oversaturate it with some stuff that didn't really fit the narrative, but at the same time, we're never letting it go. So we're going to own it forever. So Def Jam, you honestly, we're taking it back from you. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think you deserve no more, especially with a move like this. I think you're going to really have trouble going forward. And I looked at that roster and it ain't looking that good over there. I'm just going to be honest. So we'll see what's going on. You just lost a real one. And people like me going to speak out on this because I feel like you owe us an explanation. And I'm sure there's more to the story. There's always more to the story. But until we get more, this is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Make sure you head on over to black-yeti.com. When you get something over there, they ship all across the country. Let them know who sent you, all right? I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.